What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. Today, first half of my video, as usual, I'm going to be reviewing Week 3. There were some interesting games this week. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it. How about this? Oklahoma State falling apart against Tulsa. Yes, they still won 16-7. They get their first win of the season, but it was not a good effort by Oklahoma State at all. As you see there, they dropped to 15th in the AP poll. Again, it was just not a good showing at all. Spencer Sanders did get hurt in this game, so maybe you give them a little bit of a handicap there, but still was no excuse. They should have handled Tulsa pretty easily, and they did not. But again, when you go ahead and look, they played 3 different quarterbacks in this game, again, because Spencer Sanders did get hurt. They collectively went 14 of 20 for 138 yards and 1 interception. Chuba Hubbard and LD Brown, again, collectively they played pretty well, 36 carries for 156 yards and a touchdown, which I do believe was scored by Chuba Hubbard. Tylan Wallace was on and off the field in this game as well. 4 catches for 94 yards. On the other hand, for Tulsa, they played statistically pretty well, but if you watch this game, their defense definitely played well, but Oklahoma State just has too much talent to not be able to beat this Tulsa team by more, right? So we'll have to see how Oklahoma State can improve. I, for one, was really excited to watch Oklahoma State this year, and they're kind of disappointing me. Let me know if they're disappointing you down in the comment section below. But regardless, they get the win. Navy midshipmen come back from down 24-0 to beat the Tulane Green Wave as each team improves or falls to 1-1 on the season. It was 24-0, I do believe, at halftime or end of third quarter, somewhere around there. And the Navy just did not look back. 27 unanswered points and a game-winning field goal as time expired as the Navy midshipmen come back from down 24 to beat the Tulane Green Wave. Both these teams very talented, and Navy, while it wasn't a very clean performance in this game, definitely an improvement from the game against BYU. It was just an improvement overall all along the field. Jamel Carruthers is pretty good. I was watching him a lot this game. I was watching a lot of games at the same time. Nelson Smith, though, does get in the end zone twice with only 6 carries for 22 yards. And Michael Cooper, 3 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Again, not really that passing of a team, but they're starting to get there. When you look at the Tulane Green Wave, the running attack was there for the Green Wave. Tyjae Spears, Cameron Carroll, and Amari Jones. 35 carries, 222 yards, and 2 touchdowns collectively. So some big stats from Tulane's running game, and it looked like it was going to continue to go Tulane's way in the second half, but Navy, again, just turned it around. It was a great comeback for Navy. We'll have to see how each of these teams play their next game after the win or loss in this game here, but Navy gets the comeback win. Louisiana Raging Cajuns and Georgia State Panthers played in an absolute thriller in overtime. Louisiana stays at 19th in the poll. Levi Lewis did not play as well as he did his last game against Iowa State, threw 2 interceptions along with 2 touchdowns. But Georgia State was putting on a scare for Louisiana for quite some time. It was going to be quite a scare, but Louisiana does end up getting it done in overtime as Elijah Mitchell, I do believe, scores the game-winning touchdown. Together, him and Trey Regis had 24 carries, 208 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But, man, when you look at Destin Coates on the other side, 34 carries for 150 yards. They're giving a lot of workload to this young man. And Coates could very, very well be one of the star running backs that we do see this year. He's starting to break out, and we'll have to look for him. But I think if you're Georgia State, you're very happy with the way that you played this game. This is a really good Louisiana team on both sides of the ball, and you played it well. You forced overtime, and although you lost, you came very, very close. So I don't think this is anything to hang your head about if you're Georgia State. I think you just got to keep moving forward. But Louisiana still is undefeated with the win. Move on, UCF opened up their season with a comfortable win against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, 49-21, as Georgia Tech falls to 1-1. Again, Jeff Sims and Jahmyr Gibbs just played outstanding, but it was UCF that just played 10 times better than Georgia Tech did in this game. When you look, every facet of the offense was here for UCF in this game. Dylan Gabriel played outstanding. The running backs played outstanding. The wide receivers played outstanding, especially when we're talking about Marlon Williams and Trey Nixon. Those two guys, impact players for the UCF Knights. Again, UCF only has room to improve from here. I feel like it was definitely a very, very good game for the Knights, but definitely some room for improvement, especially on the defensive side. But you got to be happy with the win. It's against a pretty decent Georgia Tech team. And Georgia Tech, you lost the game. Oh, well, go out and get them. And the next one, they still do have a pretty solid win against Florida State under the belt. Georgia Tech's just got to move forward. But UCF gets the win, 49-21. And then how about this game? App State drops out of the polls as the Marshall Thundering Herd prove that they are a team to watch out for. It was a lot of mistakes made by App State late in the game, some turnovers that really did cost them. This one. And while Grant Wells and quarterback and while Grant Wells and the wide receiver positions for Marshall did not play well, Brendan Knox did. 28 carries, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Brendan Knox was all over the field in this game for the Thundering Herd. But again, it was just mistakes made by App State late in the game that really did allow Marshall to come through and win this game. Zach Thomas didn't play bad, but they just couldn't punch it into the end zone. I do like App State a lot as a team, and I still feel like they are going to be pretty good this year, all things considered. But I don't know if I can put them on top of Louisiana in the Sun Belt Conference anymore after a game like this. It was just a sloppy game for App State, and Marshall capitalized off that. I think they definitely could have scored more than 17 points if they wanted to, but regardless, Marshall gets the win and moves into the top 25 poll. All right, now the game of the week, where game day went. Let's talk about this game for a second. Can we talk about Miami? How much does De'Aaron King change a team? 18 of 30, 325 yards, and 3 touchdowns. It was not as prominent running in this game, but he didn't have to be. Cameron Harris, only 9 carries, 134 yards, and a touchdown. And Miami finally figured out what this thing called offense is. This offense is much improved from where it has been in years past, and a defense that still looks like one of the best in the ACC, if not one of the best in the country. And if you're Louisville, well, you didn't necessarily play bad, but there were some mistakes made that definitely could have been avoided. If you're a Cardinals fan, you can probably agree with me on that in the comment section down below. But while statistically and on the field they didn't play bad, Miami just has figured out what offense is. It doesn't look like a good showing for Louisville. They allowed too many quick scores, and Louisville's got to improve defensively. If Louisville can improve defensively, they definitely can be one of the best teams in the ACC. But until that point, Miami, can they challenge Clemson to the ACC? We'll have to see if that ends up working out. But Miami gets the crucial win on the road. We'll preview Miami's game next week coming up here in a little bit, but that is your week 3 in review. All right, let's take a look at my week 4 predictions. Now, for my week 4 predictions, the SEC is going to kick off play this week. And let's preview a couple SEC games, start off the bat, shall we? This has the potential to be quite a good game. 23rd ranked Kentucky Wildcats go on the road to face the number 8 ranked Auburn Tigers. See there, Auburn is favored by 7 points, which I do think is about right. I definitely feel Auburn is the more talented team than Kentucky, especially since Auburn is returning a lot of talented young guys. Seth Williams, of course, still out there, and you can't forget about Bo Nix, right? Although Jatarvius Whitlow did transfer out, DJ Williams is going to be the running back back there, and he's still pretty good. So while they will miss Jatarvius Whitlow, this is still a good young team. And I'm going to give the win here to Auburn. I just feel like they are the more talented team. And while Kentucky is ranked in the polls, don't let that fool you. I still feel like Kentucky can be a solid team this year, but Auburn definitely is the better team in this game. And I think they're going to prove that on the field, as they are going to open up play this year with a nice win. Moving on, this could be an upset alert. I know a lot of people were picking Florida to lose on the road at Ole Miss, and we're going to get it right here in week 1. Ole Miss is a sleeper team in the SEC this year. I know I've talked about them in previous videos, but Florida coming in 5th in the nation. Keep in mind that's with Big Ten teams not ranked. But again, 5th, and Pac-12 teams, excuse me, but 5th in the nation, 14.5-point favorite on the road against Ole Miss. I feel like this one's going to be closer than the spread. Ole Miss just has a lot of young guys coming back, especially when you look at that quarterback position with John Rhys Plumlee, excuse me. But when you look there with John Rhys Plumlee and just the guys that they're bringing back around, Rhys Plumlee is definitely a very, very solid Ole Miss team. I see this one being close, but I do not see Ole Miss pulling off the upset. I'm giving the Florida Gators a win here on the road to start out the 2020 campaign. Again, I think it's going to be close, but let me know if you guys have this as an upset in the comment section down below. All right, a top 25 matchup here in the ACC is the newly 24th ranked Louisville Cardinals, coming off a loss against Miami, are going to be facing the 21st ranked Pittsburgh Panthers, who are 2-0, and surprised to me, they are favored by 3 points in this game. I don't know how you can't favor Louisville in this game. To me, Louisville is the better team, and while that game against Miami may not have shown it, I think Louisville is going to rebound and get a win here in this game. So technically, this is an upset that I'm picking, but I don't really see it being an upset. I do feel like Louisville should be favored in this game. Don't know why Pitt is favored by 3 points, but maybe I'm wrong about Pitt. Haven't watched a lot of Pitt football this year as I've just been busy watching other games and busy with other stuff. But Pittsburgh is still a solid team, and Kenny Pickett hasn't played bad. But when you look at Louisville, I think they just have more offensive weapons, and I think they're going to be looking to turn it around after a lackluster performance against the Miami Hurricanes team that is going to be pretty good this year, I feel. So Louisville rebounds after that poor game last week with a win here. Moving on, an interesting game in the Big 12. You have the Iowa State Cyclones, who are playing their first game since losing to Louisiana that first game that they played. And TCU going to be playing their season opener here in this game. Now, TCU is returning quarterback Max Duggan, and while they are losing wide receiver Jalen Reagor, they're bringing in J.D. Spielman from the transfer portal over from Nebraska. They're also bringing in a really, really good running back. It's their first 5-star recruit ever in team history. Going to be playing back there for running back, also an Under Armour All-American in Zach Evans. And I expect this kid to be an absolute star. And Iowa State, we thought they were going to be a good team this year. And that game against Louisiana, again, while Louisiana isn't a bad team, it was just a lackluster performance for Iowa State. Again, you could feel Brock Purdy was off his rhythm in that game. And while I feel like that gets turned around, I have the TCU Horned Frogs winning this game. So again, technically I'm picking another upset. Iowa State is a 2.5-point favorite, but I just have a feeling that Iowa State is not good enough this year after just watching them play that game against Louisiana. I could be wrong, but TCU, I feel like, is going to want to start out strong right out of the gate. They definitely could prove to be the Baylor of the Big 12 this year. And I'm going to predict that the TCU Horned Frogs get a win in this game. Moving on, the defending national champions are going to open their season 6th in the nation, and they're going to be facing the Mississippi State Bulldogs, another sleeper team in the SEC, having Mike Leach come in as the head coach there. Now, Mississippi State's got a lot of other things to figure out, but they still have Kylan Hill. He is going to play this season, and Kylan Hill is a really, really good running back, definitely a top 10 running back, if not definitely top 15 running back in the entire nation this year. And we all know what LSU is losing, right? We all know LSU is losing Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Jamar Chase has opted out of the season as well. I definitely feel like this is going to be closer than the 16.5-point spread, but I still got to give the LSU Tigers the win here. I think the difference in this game for LSU is going to be that defensive side of the ball. I definitely think the defensive side of the ball is going to be able to get it done against this Mississippi State offense. And while I think Kylan Hill can have a big game, I don't think the Mississippi State offense has quite yet the potential. Now, we all know what an air raid offense Mike Leach throws, so we'll have to see how that turns out. But I am going to give the win here to the LSU Tigers to start their national championship defending campaign. All right, this is an interesting one here. Do not let the line fool you on this game. Yes, Texas is favored by 18 points and ranked 8th in the nation, but the Texas Tech Red Raiders and Alan Bowman could be yet another surprise team in the Big 12 this year. Again, Texas and Texas Tech both won their first games. Texas Tech barely beat Houston Baptist as Texas was able to handle UTEP really, really easily, or was it UTSA? It was one of the two. It was UTEP or UTSA, but Texas, again, able to handle. I was not terribly impressed with Texas Tech's defensive efforts in that game, but the offensive efforts, I don't think you can complain much about. Definitely think could have scored more points, but Alan Bowman looks to be a top quarterback in the Big 12 if he can remain healthy this year. Again, don't let the line fool you. I think this is going to be a closer game than the line tells you. But Sam Ehlinger and Tariq Black, this just seems like a match that was born to happen. Tariq Black transferring over from Michigan, and Sam Ehlinger's got more guys than Tariq Black that can easily catch passes as well as Tariq Black can. Again, with the loss to Devin Duvernay, they need guys to step up. Tariq Black definitely is that number one. They don't have a definite number two in my mind, but definitely think that Texas is going to be able to get it done. I definitely think this is going to be a Texas-style shootout with Texas Tech coming on top, maybe by double digits, but I don't think it's going to be an 18-point win. Regardless, Texas gets the win. All right, here's another interesting game, and another game where I think the line is just too high. Cincinnati favored by 14 points over the Army Black Knights. And actually, I take back what I said. I don't think this line is too high. I think the line is about right. And while I don't feel like it's going to be a 14-point win for Cincinnati, I still feel like Cincinnati is the more talented team. Desmond Ridder played really, really well in the first game against Austin Peay. They absolutely blew Austin Peay out of the water. And while Army is off to a good 2-0 start, they haven't really played anyone worth mentioning quite yet. And yes, they are in the AP poll. But again, you can't let the AP poll stuff fool you. I'm going to give Cincinnati the win here in this one. They just look like a much better team than Army does right now. And while they've only played one game against a lesser than opponent, as most people would consider, I just feel like they have more potential and just more talent than the Army Black Knights do. So I'm going to give Cincinnati a win here in this one. All right, now this is where College Game Day is going, and I was kind of baffled on why College Game Day was going here. Yes, it's a rivalry game, but Florida State just doesn't look all that great. Regardless, Miami only an 11-point favorite after figuring out their offensive troubles from past year, and again, a defense that still looks like a top defense in the nation. I don't see this one being close. I see Miami being able to easily handle Florida State. Mike Norvell has tested positive for COVID and is in isolation, so they're going to be having an interim head coach. Again, it still just boggles my mind why College Game Day went here, but that's where College Game Day is going to go. I know it's a rivalry game, maybe that's why, but I don't see this game being that close. I definitely see Miami being able to handle this game fairly easily. And a Florida State team that just looks like a disappointment. And maybe they can turn it around in this game, and I hope Florida State can turn it around in this game. I like watching close games, but I just don't see how Florida State's going to be able to compete with this Miami team that looks to be much improved from where they have been in past seasons. So Miami is going to get the win here, and that is your week 4 predictions. All right, that's going to do it for my week in review and week 4 predictions. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. Also consider subscribing if you are brand new to the channel or you just enjoy my content. Turn on the notification bell so you do not miss an upload and you can join Tailgate Nation. Also be sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts regarding the past week and the week to follow. Again, until next time, remember to play hard and tailgate harder. Also, go check out my daily sports show. I cover the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and MLS. I do that every Sunday. It's now around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that's every Sunday. So please go check that out. I'll leave a link down in the description. But I'll see all you guys next week. Goodbye.